good evening, or good morning, or good afternoon, no matter where you are. I'm Jean-Claude Monachon, and currently in Switzerland, as I said yesterday. So my second day of the month is ready, and we are going to load a new video. This time is really about mindset. The mindset you need to have for anything you want to do in life. First of all, for you, for yourself, or for any project, for any business you want to start. So it's super important that you really get into this positive mindset that I would like to share with you. So I will give you some insights there, and I would really appreciate if you would subscribe to this channel and give your comments, say you like it or you dislike it, tell me what you want to know, and let's start with that. It would be a real pleasure to have you registering in my channel. Take care and subscribe. Hello and welcome. And now I don't want to hesitate any longer, and we'll start. And here quite provocatively put, there is no way my life can change. Yes, a pure provocation, because with many people it's simply not so. But there are some tricks how to get ahead daily, how to move up in life. I hope you have a pen and paper, because what I'm going to teach you or tell you here is important for your future. Just take advantage of it. But before we really go into the matter, we all are facing a situation with a crisis. It's a worldwide crisis. And really I look at it from a different perspective. If you take the Chinese word for crisis, it's composed of two characters. The first one is called Wei Ji, and the second one says actually almost the same. The first one is for danger or crisis, and the second one is for opportunity. So if you put them together, actually the meaning is that you always have an opportunity in every crisis. People do usually face various crisis situations, and this is really particular. But if you think back, I'm sure you have gone through this ups and downs. You have the usual crisis where you have a separation, maybe you become jobless, you are ill, or you have a death of a loved one. You can have a financial crisis due to the recession, which could come right now, and so many people are already in this situation that they lost their job. Bankruptcy, stock market, natural crisis with floods, earthquake, fires, tsunami. In some countries it was really the case, like in Australia, they faced everything at once. Or Indonesia, they had a year full of these natural crises, which led into a combination of various crises for everyone. So some people take it differently than others. But all of these crises, even one or a combination, can create demotivation and depression. So there are different ways to see this. You can put your head in the sand and just decide, okay, this is like it is, and I will wait until it passes. Or you really want to take action and really find ways to move out of this situation and find the decision to really do something else in your life. So it's time to break your chain. And there is always a chance to overcome a crisis. And you have to see the chance to see that as a new start for a change. But before that, do you think you have goals? Because it's the first step to get a vision or a goal where you might want to live. But the problem with goal setting is that the goal, at least in the modern world as we know it, is fundamentally broken. And the problem is that we don't set goals that really come from ourselves. We set goals based on external programming. It's the media, television, politicians, commercials. And really, the problem is that they are not your goals, as I said. It's also some of the most brilliant minds in the world designing algorithms for Google or Instagram or Facebook to tell you who you should be, what should you buy, and what kind of life you should lead. And also, in our modern world, I think our whole educational system is designed to make us think that the meaning of life is shaped by two things. It is how much money you have in your bank account, and it is what title you have in your professional career. But we know that people are so much more. What about goals or visions for a romantic life? What about visionary goals as parents we want to be? Or for our physical health, or for our spirituality, as well as for our emotional state? We want to wake up for our character or for the way we travel and experience. The reason is we are wrongly programmed and our goals are wrong. So goal setting should be avoided in any way. You can crush your previous goals and throw them away in the trash. You should take control of your own identity and your decisions and become the person you want to be. Don't wait until you have a burnout or depression or you are demotivated, and don't put off until tomorrow the decisions that are important for your life that you can take today. I had so many colleagues who suffered from burnout, and really life is not the same anymore. One of them even had several burnouts. Just terrible for him, for his wife, and for his children. But why should you listen to me? Well, when you failed bringing your own life to the next level, when you think that you are too young or maybe too old to learn something from somebody older or younger than you, or when you say that I'm too old for this and it will not help, so thinking that time has passed and it's not necessary anymore, or when you think that you can do it alone and all by yourself, but if you are here now, maybe you tried it already and it didn't work out, or when you finally would like to live your life. You can only do it. No one else can do it for you. But the question now, can you do it alone? And the time has come to change your life. Now you should really listen. If you want to define your own life, it's tested and documented. Everyone can be happy and successful. But did you try already? Do you think that it is only for the others? Define your goals, and we will talk about that in a minute. So, why I'm different? I will talk about me in a second, but I'm international, I'm multilingual, I speak about 5 languages, and I gained knowledge on personal development since over 35 years. I manage companies, I have been traveling the world, and to be honest, I really worked always out of my passion. But I'm probably not the first life coach in your that you may meet. So let's move into that. No matter if you are young or maybe a bit older, no matter if you are employee or independent, having a relationship, a happy relationship, or looking to have one. Sometimes people think I'm too young. Why should I listen to this other generation? They have no clue. Some older people, they think I know everything, and why should I listen to somebody that is younger? Why is that so? Sometimes when you are employed, no matter which position, in the management position maybe, then it is important that you still keep your own goals in front of your eyes. And when you are independent, you probably have your doubts. Maybe you have difficulties to run with your private life, to manage everything, to combine everything. Maybe you have difficulties in managing your employees, your teams. We never stop learning, and we should always constantly learn so that we can come further in our life. And finally, work is not everything. The most important thing is also your private life. If you are happy, you will spread that out. You will have this aura. People will realize that you are a happy person. And this could help you also in different perspectives. So again, you need to take control about your life and about your own identity and take your decisions and be the person you always wanted to be. So don't wait. Don't wait until you have this, let's say, demotivation or depression status. Never push your decision to another day. Take the decision now for your life. It's important now, not tomorrow. So my personal experience, well, let me tell you that I have been lucky in my life to do something that I like, but sometimes you are pushed in positions that you may not be liking too much. Maybe you lose everything based on your passion. You also can lose, let's say, the reality, and you may lose your friends, your family, your wife quits you because you are always at work. And many things can happen very fast, and out of experience sometimes you do not realize that things are happening and that maybe your surroundings are completely different than what you perceive. So don't be blind. But just to tell that I was once really working super hard and had not any day off for many months, and I really focused 100%, 200% on my job, and I was also traveling. And finally, after let's say a big event, I was in my relaxation mode, and that was when I was flying back from some city in the States, and I had a stopover for a few hours in Chicago at the airport. And that's when really something happened to me. I was really relaxing. I watched a movie, and at that moment, what happened is that I all of a sudden saw everything black, and the next thing I saw was a lot of paramedics. I was under oxygen mask. I had an infusion, and I was having an ECG, so they monitored my heart and everything. So it was really very close to have this kind of burnout, and I didn't understand what was happening. So it was even frightening to be in that situation. Fortunately, I recovered, I would say, quite fast. They gave me a lot of orange juices and so on, and I could take the next flight. But I was not really confident. I was super scared about what happened to me. So I went to visit my doctor in Switzerland, because I lived in Switzerland at that time. And I really talked to him, and he said, well, you need to find the right balance in life. And I say, well, but and he said, you should do some sport. I said, well, but I do some sport. I'm actually an active marathon runner. I do some Ironman races. And what do you mean? I do a lot of sport. I train a lot. And he said, it's very simple. First of all, you probably train too much and sleep too little. You need to have a healthier life. You should eat absolutely a balanced food. So you should have enough proteins, carbohydrate, and not eating junk food like you do sometimes, maybe most of the time. And really you have to take care of that, and doing sport and training like hell is not enough. You are putting actually more stress up to you in willing to reach goals for a marathon race or an Ironman or whatsoever. You really need to balance. So you don't have enough sleep. So your day has to really come back to a normal state. So sleep more, eat better, train sometimes less, but really balance your life. And one other thing he said, and don't stop immediately. Let's say you take a break, you can take a holiday. You will never be able to take a holiday and lay on a beach and do nothing. That's the moment you will collapse. And that's the moment that many people actually are collapsing, when they have a stressful life and they go on holiday, and even sometimes a longer weekend can be sufficient for that, and they really just lay down and do nothing, this can be fatal. And that's the moment people are getting in this burnout situation. So it's important to really balance your life. Have enough sleep, really eat healthy, a balanced food, and train, but having enough recovery time. This is super important. So, but of course, when something like that happens, you start to ask yourself, I am happy. Am I happy about what I'm doing here? Is that the situation or the life I always wanted to have? And this is really the moment that you have to ask yourself, how do you feel in your current life? And right now, due to this whole situation, many people were stuck at home for weeks, and they really started to think about themselves. And maybe you did too. The question is, what do you do after? Do you continue to put yourself in the shoes of somebody else, or do you take your courage in your two hands and really do something? So the question is, are you happy? Was I happy? The answer was no, because I really did not do everything I wanted to do. And that's something that you need to take into consideration. Ask yourself this question now. Are you happy? If yes, great. You may continue to listen to this presentation and decide, okay, I learned something and I will continue with that. Or maybe you will say, okay, I'm not happy and it's really important to stay on. So in this situation, you can have a lot of friends, but maybe you lose all of them because you are focusing on your job, you are focusing on something different, you have never time for them, you have never time for your family, and you probably even have no time for your kids. You always postpone everything to tomorrow, and that's the moment you have to be very, let's say, reflecting on yourself. Also, I visited so many seminars. You know, you always think you need to learn something, and of course it's important. You have to develop your personality. So I went also to personal development seminars, and I have to say that usually in all of these seminars that you participate, you take a lot of notes, then you go back home, and then Monday morning you go back to work, and you have the first phone calls, the people coming into your office, you have the phone ringing, the emails popping up in your desktop computer, and that's that moment when you already maybe forget what you wrote the weekend before. Nothing more to say that on Wednesday you have forgotten everything, and you did probably never implemented all the points that you had taken, and the points that you wanted to take, all the actions you wanted to put in place. Well, let me tell you one thing. Actually, you should really do one thing, at least implement one point. So if you go to a seminar, if you listen to this presentation now, at least write one very important point that you will implement, and do it consistently. Really do it. That's the only thing I think it's important. And then once you have it into you, then you may add another one. But don't pressure yourself if willing to change everything overnight, because it won't work. Sometimes also people do have in their career a promotion. You are doing a good job, you have, let's say, a middle management position, and you are promoted to an upper management position. You always wanted that in a way, because you know it's maybe related also to obtain more money. But once you are there, you may be regretting it, and maybe you have no way back, and you will be in this situation for many months, years, and maybe what I described before will happen. So it's always the question, is it that moment that you have really to accept everything? If you want it, by all means, you should try. But sometimes people are also in a situation they absolutely didn't ask for it. They may be promoted, and they hate it because they have much more works, much more responsibilities, no more time for the family, no more time for the friends, no more time for the hobbies, and that's the moment that the wheel is turning, and you are really seeking into this happiness that you don't have anymore. So always in such a situation, you need to be able to take a decision. You need to be able also to talk with somebody. And to be honest, when I was a CEO of a company, I had many trouble. First of all, no time for me, which I then obviously managed to. But I had also difficulty sometimes with the team, because the team would not do what you wanted. You would have a different perspective, etc. That was until that moment that I really had a big aha moment, that had a big change in my life. At that moment, I was thinking, okay, I cannot talk with anybody about my own problems, my own situation. I cannot talk to my friends about it because they don't understand what I'm going through. I cannot talk to my family because they don't understand the job I'm doing. I cannot talk about some other people in the company or in the same environment, because then you have this competitive issue and you don't want to position yourself as a weak person. So actually I had nobody to talk to have an honest and objective opinion on what I was doing. So I had once a very good opportunity. Really, a friend of mine told me that he was having a mentor. He had a coach. And I say, what type of coach is that? And he really gave me some explanation. And actually, I went to that person. I called that coach. And he really, the connection has to be good. If you have a good feeling, a good first gut feeling at the moment you meet that person, then you know that you may be able to talk and obtain also more support. So ultimately, I found this coach and I could talk about everything. He was certainly a very good listener. He had a lot of experience, and he really helped me to find solutions. Actually, very easily. I did not receive the solution from him. He was asking me the right questions to find the solutions that I already knew. But that was the difference. I really had to have let's say a counterpart that would help me finding these answers, finding these solutions. So it was my sparring partner for many years, and he became ultimately also a very good friend, I would say. Now I have also sometimes, due to my evolution, I take mentors who are younger, because things are changing so fast, and you may be 60 like I am, or you may think like that, or you want to stay, I would say, up with your mind, healthy, modern, and you seek mentorship from people that are younger. And actually I have at least one mentor. He's in his 35 and absolutely brilliant, because I learned so much. So it's always the possibility to change a lot in your life. So how would it be if you could really live your dream life? If you could be, I don't know, 10 times more happy, and how cool would that be if you could define your own goals, find your own solutions, and instead of focusing on the problems, really focusing on the solutions. You know, Albert Einstein says there are people that are having a problem for every solution. You don't want to be one of them. You want to be a solution thinker, right? And we all deserve to have this exceptional life. First of all, we should be thankful to have this life, because we are all here for a reason, right? And at the end, we should be enjoying the life. So, for the ones that are watching that YouTube video, you should really think about that. You should really think about why you are here. the reason should be obvious. You want to be really happy, right? And it's not because you see a lot of Instagram or Facebook posts when you open it that you see dozens of people having, showing off with great cars, posting pictures next to a private jet and showing how fantastic and rich they are. You can Photoshop all these pictures. You can do whatever you want today with social media and I would say all the tools we get. But why do you want to share that? Do you want to share that you are rich? Do you want to share something like that? There's nothing wrong if they are like that. It's all fine. But it's not the whole meaning of your life. You must also think that there are not only financial goals, there are emotional goals, there are emotional situations that you want to master, and emotional parts of your life where you want to be. Your character is also very important in that, and as important as your vision for a very nice relationship. Or for being a good father, a good mother. So your parentship is also important. And also ultimately for your body. So if you have your priority list, what is on top of your list? Is it money? Is it to become a millionaire? Is that your priority number one? Or do you have anything else? If it is, let's say, your career and money, like many people have, maybe you have been conditioned to that. But where do your friends, family, your emotional state remain? So first of all, what you need to have a crystal clear picture. You need to know what you want to have in your life. No matter how young or old you are, you need to know what kind of life you would like to live. Because without any crystal clear picture, without any decision frame that you have to observe and let's say follow on a daily basis, and this will lead to your actions ultimately, then you will not know where to go. And you cannot just run away like that because you think, okay, I have a problem here, I run away there and everything will be better. No, first of all, now it's even difficult to travel. So you cannot run away for problems like that. Actually, you need to have this North Star that really give you that focus where you want to go. But you have to really have that plan, and we will talk about that in a minute. I like to talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger was this young man who had a lot of dreams. He wanted to become really Mr. Universe. And he really invested all his energy in that. He was coming from this village in Austria, and everybody was trying to tell him he should not do that. He should be normal. He should do what everybody is doing. And the more they were telling him not to do it, the harder he would train, the more convinced he would be. So actually he really did that. And he left everything and he did everything to reach his goal. And he was the youngest Mr. Universe. But how did he manage that? Actually, he would probably, sleep for 4 hours in the night. So when you go to his seminars or you listen to one of these presentations that he may have or his speech that he may have in YouTube, for example, then you will really be interested to listen how he did it. He will say, okay, I had to get up early morning, 6, I would go have a quick breakfast, I would go to work, I have the commute to do, I have to take a little bit of time for eating and then training harder, and at the end the day was over and he would have 4 hours left to sleep. So people usually ask him, well, I need more than 4 hours, I need to sleep for 8 hours. And what he would simply say, he would say, sleep faster. So it's quite an amusing thing, but don't misunderstand what I said before about balance. The point is that the right balance needs to be for everyone. And, you can do something out of passion and reach your goals, and then you can change. But this is a matter of how you do it. If you are happy in life, you will not get burnt out. You will really be absolutely in focus of what you want to do, and you will have and develop a lot of energy. So also one thing that he says, and I think this is super important, he says, forget plan B. If you have a good plan A and you believe in your plan A, you should follow it. You should put all your energy in plan A. If you need to focus on the plan B, it is just because you don't believe in that plan A. So forget about plan A that moment and do a new plan, but have only one plan. That's the message. Really do one plan that works and focus on this one and really put all your energy into it. So that's really the point. Do you have a plan? Do you know where you want to be, where you want to be, who you want to be? Or do you really don't know it? Because many people actually nowadays absolutely have no idea where they want to be. And they have no more vision. So it is super important that you have a vision for your own life. Each second of the day, you have people, they do things they don't want to do. And you have to take really the control about that. Each news that you have, each company you work for, each publicity you see, everything you see is actually led in a way that they try to take control about your life. That's absolutely critical. So you have to take time for you to define your own development. Now, really, what do you think about YouTube? Well, YouTube is like any other social media, to give an idea, is really programmed by a very intelligent person. And this person are creating algorithms so that when you enter in YouTube and you may be not so focused on the theme that you want to search, because it is a super search engine, then you may be lost, and you may be lost for, I would say, hours and days. And depending on what you have been clicking before, of course, you will see a bunch of videos that are going into this direction. Now, hopefully it is the right direction too. So it's important that you basically make sure that you keep that control about your life to do what you want to do. And it's not just about, it's not just about media. Actually, when you don't have a clear vision where you want to go with your life, then you are in danger. You are actually in danger that you will lose the control, and somebody else will take the control of your vision, and your vision will become the vision of others. And that's the moment you have to really be strong and take decision for your own life. Because if you look at the publicity, do you know how many commercials we see in a day? 10, 20, 50? Right, the average person in the Western world sees about 100 to 300 commercials every day. So even if you surf on Instagram, even if you are on YouTube, your behavior is changed by the videos you watch. And if you watch something, then a series of videos or posts that are in the exact segment will come up, and without knowing it, you are fully on this track to take over the vision of others. Just really reflect back. So actually, it's a silent brain washing of the society, and we accept it. So think about that for a moment. Also, I think that our education system makes us focus on two things: your financial life and how much money you should have, and then your career and what title, what job you should have, right? And schools tells us nothing about how to become a good spouse, a good husband, or how to behave in a relationship, and how to become a parent. Where do you learn at school how to behave with children? Nowhere. Basically, you will take extra courses and then you still don't know. But nobody is teaching you the reality of life. That's why some specific schools now are going into this direction, and they are very popular. But they are private schools, so not everybody can afford that. So they don't teach us anything about how to have a vision for ourselves, or how to create a vision for our emotional state, or how to have a good character or a fulfilling social life. There are 12 important categories in life, but people are obsessed with career and money, and this is a broken way of life. Properly fulfilling life is a completely different thing. Exactly. I bet that most of you who participate here have goals, right? And probably you have some, but just reflect on them if they are the correct one. Because you are also interested in personal development, so you probably have goals. I also bet that the majority of you, or 50% or more of you, have goals that would fall under the category of career and finances. And I would also like to say that some of you may be living a little unhealthy. Is your health and fitness level that you used to have when you were younger, if you have a certain age, do you live that way? Or is it something you have never experienced? Maybe something you want to experience at some point in the future. There are many areas, and raising awareness to change your life can only go beyond the other parts. Actually, it's about awakening this consciousness to get to know yourself, nothing else. And what is your, there are other categories. You have the intellectual life, you have the spiritual life, you have the character, the emotional life. Those are parts of these 12 categories. So what about your love relationship? Do you have a really fulfilling love relationship? Or how should this look? How should it be? How does it look for you? How would the ideal situation would be in this love relationship? Or are you a good parent? Do you know what to do every day? Do you know how to behave in every situation? Do you have the time to reflect on that? Do you live also, let's say, children's grow? Or do you put all the focus on the children, and then you forget that you have maybe a love relationship? So things like that have to be taken into consideration. Also, companies are sold to corporations overnight, and you can suddenly be out of the picture. So what you have today may not be there tomorrow. That's why I also said that you can have luxury and comfort, but you also have to be able to deal with less. That's why the only good you have is yourself, and that value is not lost. It's you. You are the most important person in this. You are the center of the world, because it is actually what you have, your values. You will never lose them. That's why you should work on them. So, love relationship, career, finances, and the other categories that I said before, all of them do have to work together. Because if they work together, then you have the right balance in life. So, social life, quality of life, life vision also are playing a very important role. But this needs also discipline. This is really important that you manage all these categories of your life and see that they support also your career and your financial life. So it's really interesting to see that sometimes people do block on these different categories because they focus completely on their career, and they don't have the best strategy for that. If you are not aware of these other categories, you will simply miss the focus and the balance you could have. So it's absolutely important that you have the right balance, because the ultimate goal is reaching that is absolutely possible. But it takes an enormous amount of self-confidence, and it takes discipline. Actually, everything you do, if you do it 30 days in a row, you will realize that it is then implemented mentally. You will not be thinking again about it. You will just do it. So your life has to be based on all these 12 categories. It is absolutely important. You have to respect yourself, live a balanced life, because each category supports the other, and that should be the ultimate goal for you. You must be absolutely committed. And at this point, if I could recommend something to you, then you will find the link below this video. I recommend to participate in the live book. You have the live book from Mindvalley. It's absolutely brilliant. It's really something that really helped me also to learn about all these 12 categories. So actually, where do you want to sit? Are you actually the driver of your life? Because this is quite important to decide if you are like I don't know, a piece of wood in the ocean just floating around, or if you are the captain and really of the boat and really having really the focus on where you want to go. The same in your car. Where do you sit in the car? Passenger seat would be okay too, but actually you want to drive. You want to be the one leading where you want to go, right? So take control. You can do anything, and maybe some of you did as I did too, walking also on fire, for example. You can do that if you take the control of your mind. It's absolutely incredible. But do you know also that more than 85%, depending on the studies, are showing that people really hate their job. They really don't like what they do. They don't want to go up in the morning. They just think it's again a bad day. It's again Monday. It's again Tuesday, and they wait really for having the Saturday, the weekend coming, and then Sunday night they will have this depressed mode again. So why not doing something you really like to do? It is really important. So because we are preconditioned. We are preconditioned to do things that maybe we don't want to do. So think about that. So, but you need to be assertive. You need to be self-confident. You really need to have a clear vision. And to have a clear vision, you don't need to have a motivation, because the motivation will come from inside. And that's when you will be driving, you will have this motivation. And when you have your goal in front of your eyes, you will be able to follow your goal blindly and not the one that somebody else wants to implement to you. So you have to look forward. Your goal is really to create a framework that will help you making decision with your words, so that your goals and your life go in only one direction, like in a river. Consistently, all your goals must go in the same direction. The reality is that you can have a great body, but you can be broke. You can have a great career and miserable health. You can have a wonderful relationship, but you can't focus on your career, and so on. So all of these things are really upsetting you, and this is why the balance is really important. That's why you need to know where you live your old life and where you start with your new life. And where are you going to be in 5 or 10 years? Like I said before, so many people have started to think and to reflect about themselves during this lockdown period. So they really started to realize, I don't like what I'm doing. I'm not there where I would like to be. But the question is, are they going to change? So you have to really be fearless and really take the first step. And today is your chance to go in the right direction. So don't wait on that. And you should really live your dream life. I don't say you need to travel. Maybe it's not what you want. Just think about what makes you happy. And that's the moment you really will be able to also have this mind shift change. You need to change the way you think. And you definitely don't need to miss the train, because if you say, I will do it tomorrow, I will think about it tomorrow, again, you will miss the opportunity. And really, I think you never finish to learn in your life. You have to continue to learn constantly. But be careful. You have also to think about the future and to be continuously positive. The power of positivity is enormous. This is super important. It is really incredible, because if you are surrounded with positive people, you will see that it is completely different. It will change your the group of colleagues you have, the group of friends you have. It will change your behavior. And really, if you meet people, they are negative and the only thing they have to tell you is something negative, it has an influence of you. Distance yourself from these kind of people. Now, if you have this aura of being a positive person and you really talk positively, take this example. You meet someone and in an usual conversation, if you don't talk about the weather, you will say, how is life? And the person will start to say, oh, I have this, I have that, usually problems, right? If you don't have any problems anymore to tell about, and you say, I have a great day, I have a great life, and I do this and that, and really bring the positivity into the conversation, you will see that these kind of negative people will start to distance themselves from you. So that's the moment you really will have to realize that maybe you had the wrong friends. So fact number one is that 85% of the people don't do what they would really like to do. And fact number two is almost 70%, and it's proven statistics, are showing signs of burnout. And these people having these signs of burnout actually because they have stress in everyday's life. They have a high stress on the job. Maybe they have a permanent financial problem. They are overtaxed to combine, let's say, job and family. They try to be multitasking and they have the lack of focus, and they pursue the goals of others. Important to know is that actually, and it is also proven, that nobody has ever been burned out by passion. As I said before, this gives you super energy. But how is your day? Are you tired to get up in the morning? Do you work 8 hours or more for a boss that you hate maybe? And then you come back at home, you're exhausted, you lay on the sofa and you don't want to do nothing anymore. And the day is over. And your last thought before sleeping is, I need to change something. And then you just redo it again. So maybe for you it's time to change something if you are in this situation. Just reflect. Your assertiveness defines 95% of your behavior. So here are some examples of negative phrases. I'm not good enough. I always have bad luck. I'm poor. I need to be realistic. It's not for me. Is it okay? Actually, it's okay as it is. I don't want to take a risk. What will the others think? So this is one of these greatest way of thinking. Always thinking, what will the other think? What will my family think? All of that is super negative actually, and we should always never do that. Actually, just to be honest, you will always do things that your family wants you to do. Or your friends. You don't want to go somewhere? Don't go. You don't want to do something? Don't do it. Here are some positive phrases. I can do it. I deserve to be having the life I deserve. I have the right to be free. I have the right to earn more. I have the right to prioritize myself. Be the focus on myself. I can reach my goals. So your day could really start like this, and you are really having a very nice morning and you have the sun on your face and you are happy to be there. So this is how the day should start, right? Sometimes you know that what will expect you during the day, you know that it's not what you want to have, but you need to focus on what the positive will be in that day. And if you are prepared mentally to be positive, then it will help. If you are your life, if you manage and you have your visions, you have your life in your hands, then you will always do what you want. You will be able to master any situation. You will be having this calmness to really enjoy actually some situations like that, because it will not affect you. You will be positive. You will know where you want to go, and you will not be interfacing with this. Also, if you are surrounded by positive people, then the first thing you will see, that's the smile. And by having a smile, you will really have to do that. And it's easier than you think, really. Maybe not this picture, I couldn't do that, but actually it's easier. Just start with a smile. And just also think, everyone was there once. Yeah, there are days that you maybe do not feel good. Maybe you were in a situation, or you are in a situation that you don't know how to move further. You don't take the time for you. As an example, I dedicate 1 hour per day for myself to learn something new. And depending on the subject, obviously, I will also take the time to implement it. But I take this 1 hour. This is a ritual. Take 1 hour to learn something. Imagine after 1 year how much you could learn. But that's time to take for you. Many people say they don't have time at all. I have a friend of mine, she's a Pilates trainer, and she really made a great training, even online training during this lockdown period, and it's about 45 minutes. People were complaining they did not have the time while locked at home. So imagine, people have always, I would say, an excuse for anything, or they find, as I said, a problem to any solution. So she made some videos of 20 minutes length, and still people will say they don't have the time to find 20 minutes in a 24 hours day. So you have to put priorities. You have to have a plan. If you have a plan and you know what you want to do, you actually will know that you will take every day at a certain time a moment for you. Maybe it will be 3 times 20 minutes that you will dedicate for learning something or for doing exercise. Whatever you need, just have a plan and stick to that plan and really boost yourself. Just break this chain. Just go in further. Don't wait tomorrow. Do it now. Maybe take the decision to participate in this program of the 12 categories of your life. The life book is really fantastic. So this is something you could do, and I can only encourage to do that. And you will find the link below again in the description. I can only recommend to do that. Again, you don't need these excuses. You are not too old or too young to start that. There's never an age, there's never a limit to anything we want to do. Also, stop saying it's all good as it is. Yes, if you look like these young people in the picture, completely bored, then something is wrong. Enjoy life. I had one of my mentor, actually, he would come in the office because he was the chairman of the board. He would come and he would say every morning, "I'm happy, I'm still alive." He was old, of course. And he enjoyed every day. He would call his colleagues, his friends, and invite them and say, "Let's go have a meal somewhere." And he said, these people at a certain age, they don't want to do anything anymore. And he was super active. And that's how he lived. And I learned a lot from him, because You really have to take that moment. And as I said before, have no time. You always have time. Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger who says, sleep faster. But you have times. 24 hours in a day gives you plenty of time. But you have to take it. It's time to get the time back and live your life. If you want to know more, just click on the button and take the next step to define your life. Actually, there's a button maybe somewhere below, or you just have the link to see these kind of examples. You can also register, subscribe to this channel, and you will get more, let's say, tutorials on different things. I have different passions in my life, but also you will receive some more news about it. And I really recommend to do a few or take a few decisions to maybe invest in learning about yourself, in learning things that others have tested and been doing. So just do that. And actually, you know, the life book is actually something you can do for free, I would tell you. But also, if you don't decide today, nothing will change. So really take the decision today. And maybe you can still stay like that. If you stayed until now and you did not get it, really you have to take your own decisions. Don't let anyone else decide for you. You have to live your life. I think this is the most important thing. Also, making compromises is something that you have really to reflect. As a man, you may do a lot of compromises with your spouse, with your friend, and do you always want that? Are you happy? You have to discuss these things. You have to put that on the table. You have really to discuss, but you have to live your life full of happiness and not unhappiness. You have to take action. Take action. Do not compromise on everything. Because your reality could be like that. Having this sense of freedom, really being happy. As I said before, if you are happy, really, everything will start to be different. And you deserve to be free and independent, and there are many ways to do that. Because you know that every day will be different. And if you don't take action, nothing will change. Really, it's your decision. And you want to be continuing to have your 9-to-5 life and being bored? Just think about that. Maybe your decision is to say, okay, I have a very well-paid job and I can do so many hobbies. I can do all the things that I'm passionate about thanks to that job. That's a situation that you may have to balance too. On the other hand, you could say, I can live with less money and really do things that I'm passionate about. That's also another version. So really you have to think about that. And at the end of the day, if you really take your decisions, you may say, why didn't I do it earlier? Because your life will have changed. You will be more happy. So be the person you always wanted to be. Never say yes when you want to say no. If you are invited to go somewhere and you don't want to go, just don't go. Don't find excuses. Just don't go. Just say, no, I'm not coming. It's important. You have to be the driver of your life. Don't let others decide for you. And sometimes you may do a compromise, but really it should be the exception. Also, super important, never leave an unsolved conflict. Maybe you are not able to solve the conflict at that particular moment because you are in an emotional state that will not be giving you the rationality to solve that conflict. Communication is super important. So you have really to take action. If you have a conflict, don't let it unsolved. So many people have regretted that for the rest of their life because they left something unsolved. You never know what can happen. So important. Take the next step. Really do it. Don't wait. And life is short, so you really can't wait. It's important that you really think about where are you going to be in 1 year, in 5 years, or in 10 years. Where do you want to be? Really. And invest daily 1 hour for you. For you only. No matter what you want to do. Learning, doing sport, but 1 hour. I think it's really the minimum you should take. Thank you very much for listening to me. Subscribe to that channel. Click on the various proposals and buttons you have below in the description. You will see there are some really very good things. So again, I can recommend the live book, and I have some other things that I liked from Mindvalley, for example, and that will bring you further. And well, I would be glad to have you in my subscriber list and see you very soon. So again, my last word, take action, be happy. Thank you for being here.